Test 23. Alrighty. Hi, I'm Glenn at COF Field Team on YouTube. And this round we're going to talk about our Let's Talk Fishing series. In this case, we're talking about our recent trip to the Blue River this past weekend. It was, I think it was Saturday, anticipating some rain that day, but luckily the rain held out and we were able to get a good effort in. 3 of us fishing, 3 of us limited out. We were using Super Dupers that round. And what I'd like to do is just kind of roll right into the action by showing what we did. But before I go there, let me go ahead and start up a little chat window so folks can join and maybe chat with us with some Q&A. So let's just say hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Let's talk fishing. Let's talk fishing. And in this case, we're talking Super Dupers and what worked for us. And that said, Super Dupers, what we plan on doing possibly tomorrow, because our local pond here is in the City of Allen is going to be stocked supposedly. So hopefully, maybe see some of y'all out there. Anticipate using some of that Bait Finesse Systems gear. And, well, hey, maybe you might be able to catch a fish or 2 out there. So, let's see. Let me check again if this is working. I just hit it and it said that it made it. Let's see, test, we're live. Yeah, okay, that one made it. Okay, this is the video from when I went to the Blue River this past weekend. So, we'll hold there, and we'll start talking about that one here shortly. I think what I'd like to also talk about is maybe the ultralight gear that yours truly used while we were out there. And just kind of flipping around to make sure I've got this working right. Okay, we're live. I see that working. Okay, so let's go ahead and start things off with the video. And what this is ultralight bait casting for trout. And as it rolls through, I'll go and make some comments here or there at some key points that I believe may be helpful. All right, so let's give that one a shot here shortly. I'll start the video. For some ultralight bait casting for trout. Before we go there, we stop at Bucky's for a quick pit stop. And then sure enough, soon after, we're over there at the Blue River. Stopping at Scotty's to pick up some more Super Dupers. All right, today we're at the Blue Low Water Crossing. We're going to try out the Bait Finesse style. And in this case, we're talking Bait Finesse style fishing gear. This is the Shimano Scorpion 17 BFS XG on that $25 BFS or Bass Pro Shops fiberglass rod that I like using. I may take that one out there tomorrow when we head out to the local lake, Bethany Lakes, when they get stocked. Knock on wood tomorrow. And as I said, well, let me go ahead and keep rolling the video. Super Dupers or whatever works today. Wish us luck. River is clear at the low water crossing. Things are promising. Area is not crowded. And we do see other folks catching some fish, and it looks very promising. Just got to figure out what the pattern is. Fortunately, fished for a few and did not get any hits. And speaking of fishing for a few, I didn't get any hits. One of the things I like doing when I get to the Blue River and fishing used crossing, specifically that low water crossing, is kind of work the area. And so see if I can point out some key areas right back here. Let's see if I can get it. Right here along this bank area is typically where we'll see a lot of folks fishing. I don't think you can see it right here. Let me clear it real quick. Okay, right over here, if you can see my cursor, this is that bank area where a lot of folks like to go fish if they're not taking any wading gear. So I highly suggest that. If you cast out in the middle over here, you'll typically get some really good bites. And also, if you do follow the Blue River Fishing Facebook page, one of the guides, actually he guides in New Mexico, just posted some more details about this area and fishing it, so do check that one out. Let's go ahead and roll the video. And well, with that, we need to go and move elsewhere. Before we go, we need to go and try fishing upriver and see what's happening here at the crossing. Unfortunately,
See trout moving, but no strikes. Went further downriver to give it a try. Fishing a rainbow trout super Duper. That's that one that has a rainbow trout pattern and is white.
All right, and then speaking of the rainbow trout pattern, let me show you real quick. This is it right here. Right there. So it's got the rainbow trout colors, got a little pink, little light blue, and some dots, and it's white, and it's your normal super duper. It's white mainly, and this one was getting consistent hits while we're out there on the blue. Typically when I'm fishing, let's say the local pond over here at Bethany, I'll typically start out with either a gold or copper super duper, and then I'll have a silver one ready to go as well. So here's a box full of stuff that I have here for that bait finesse gear. And let's see if I can grab the one right here. This is the copper, and this is the 502 size, so it's the smaller of the two. And I'm casting it with that bait finesse fishing gear, the bait casting gear. We'll also use a gold one, but in particular we'll use a gold super duper that doesn't have the prism on it. I think this past weekend our fishing buddy was using one with the prism and it was working well, but I tend to just use the one that is a plain one. Here's the silver super duper. Again, this is the 502 size. I will go up to a 501 or 503, or to the 503. Just depends, but typically I'll just have the 502 ready to go. From a fishing standpoint, super duper wise, I tend to vary the retrieve and just see what it's doing. In this video, I started a slower retrieve mainly because I knew that the trout were probably going to be a little slow that day because we did have that cold front come through and drop the temperatures into 30s. So here's that silver one. All right. Let me go back to the video and let's run it.
Mainly, I see trout moving about. They're nipping the lure. Unfortunately, I'm not striking, or at least not getting them. I'm doing a count 6 retrieve, letting it sink before I reel it in. And I'm anticipating that the trout are going to be deeper, less active because of that cold front that just came by. So they're here. I just got to figure out what that pattern is. So I continue fishing, and in this case, kind of take note of the angle of the rod and that change impacting, or at least getting them to elicit a strike. Okay, I've got a fish on, first fish of the day, and what I noticed, and my fishing partners also noticed, was holding that rod at a higher angle, put some other action enough.
And what I'm saying there with some other action, so typically I'll hold the rod, and when I say at a higher angle, I'm holding it up in this angle, and for some reason, and I've seen this before fishing some different ponds, is when that super duper goes through the water, and I don't use a swivel, I just tie it right onto the snap itself, let's see if I can show you. Right, here we go. So when you do that high angle cast, it's more of this direction here. Let me switch cameras. It's more of this direction where it rides in the water, sort of like this angle, like this, and does this really short wobble. And with a super duper, you want to fish it slow, and that little wobble is really, at least in this case, it was working for us on the Blue River to elicit that strike to get the trout to take it. Had a lot of little short strikes where it's nipping initially, but as soon as I lifted that rod tip, it worked. The other two folks that were fishing with me, they did the same thing and noticed the same thing, where if we fished it low with the rod tip low or horizontal, it seemed to not get as many strikes, if not those little nips, versus retrieving it at that angle, we were able to get some consistent hookups. All right, let's go back to the video
to give a little change to where the trout were striking. So if we weren't doing that, the trout seemed to kind of ignore it or kind of just nip at it. But once we lifted the rod up, it seemed we got better opportunity to catch a fish or two in this case.
Oh, he's bigger. Nice.
Number 2 hoo-hoo for you. Hoo-hoo.
And notice how I'm retrieving. It's a steady retrieve, not very fast. It's a 6.1 or 6.2 to 1 retrieve, so it's actually moving a lot quicker than you see there.
Hit it right there on the edge.
And when I mention on the edge, right over here where you see this wooden, like, fallen tree, there's a deep drop off right here where I can see rocks, and then it'll drop off. And what I noticed in the past, as well as this time, is I've seen the trout just kind of lingering near that undercut, and as soon as the lure goes right by there, they're darting out and striking the super duper in this case.
Oh, stop it. You don't even know how to get here. Ah, right there.
Oh well, you can't get them all. I lost that one, but luckily I was able to get my limit. I did have to cut it short. I was wearing hip waders, and I went too deep in one spot, so I ended up getting soaked, and so I had to go change change out. And lucky I did have some change of clothes, but the temperatures were in the 30s. Just I gutted it out enough so I can get my 3, and then I went ahead and changed out after that.
You're basically trying to not be cold. I know that. I'm okay. What's the temperature right now? Is it? It's only 30?
Well, high's like 42, dude.
Yeah. I better catch it quick.
Really slow. Slow and low. And high.
And you're not counting?
No, it's all about the feel.
Jeez, feel. You're counting.
No.
You just don't know it. Oh, there's a hit. Slow. Yeah, slow.
Ball's pretty quick. I know that.
It's slow, and then again, notice the higher angle of the rod.
Slow. All right, that's it. I'm changing. Oh, wait, hold up. I got to make sure I got it.
This is why I don't count. Watch.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Hold on, don't give it to me yet. Let me make sure I got this in the bag first. Yeah, don't do that. Okay, we had a slight change of plans here. I had to change clothes because I got a little dunking wearing those pants waders. So, or correction, the hip waders. I should have went with pants waders. But hey, good to go now. All right, so a great day here on the Blue. I've limited out already. My fishing partners are out there trying to get their limit as well. What we're doing today is using super dupers. So far, copper super duper. This rainbow trout super duper was working well, and basically it's a slow retrieve, very slow retrieve, and they're just kind of tapping at it at the end, and we're hooking them. So good stuff. Not too many people out here today on a Saturday. So far things are good. Cold front came in last night and maybe mixed up things, but luckily the trout are still biting. There's my net, that homemade net, other than the net itself I bought. Everything else I made. And there's the...
And one thing about that net, I've been asked about it. Basically, I took some wood from Home Depot. I think it's like 1-inch slats and whatnot. Bent them over in some PVC piping, let it soak, and then I was able to form it around. Let's see, I think I had a video of it right here. Let's see, yeah, right here. I formed used some clamps and made a form for it, and then from there, just made myself a wooden net.
And there's the bait finesse style Scorpion 17 BFS XG on that $25 Bass Pro Shop Microlight rod. I got some socks here since I had a little dunking here. Had to go switch it out. So hey, that's what happens. And there's our other fishing party out there, limiting out. And one key takeaway is, well, you need to get in the water, at least for us this round. Get some wading gear on. This is the only fish that I caught from shore without having to wade. It was on a super duper. Nice looking trout. Rainbow trout. Super duper.
Okay, and backstory on this one. These wading boots, I've had them for about 15 plus years. And, well, I had a flat tire, and I just needed them to get back out in the water. I'd already limited out, but our fishing partner He did have some wading pants, but didn't have any wading boots. So this is us just switching out, and I kind of used some kind of rope to hold at least the sole in, so I could at least make it last at least one more trip, or at least one more limit.
All right, sometimes you just got to do what you need to do. We had a flat tire, but we were able to make do and get a limit. All right.
Oh yeah, and so just FYI, I do have another pair coming in. It's supposed to come in tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be ready to go if I can maybe hit the river this weekend also. And then here's where I'm just going to describe what we did, specifically the trout and the super dupers that we used.
We got 3 feet pull fish, 3 limits. There's the big guy. That's pretty cool. And then we had some of these guys. These were on copper. These were on gold. And those were on the rainbow trout. Nice.
Alrighty, so that's pretty much all I had this round. Just want to talk about super dupers, what we used when we went to the Blue River. And oh, by the way, most likely I plan on using those super dupers. Probably start out with a gold. Tomorrow when they stock Bethany Lakes. Not sure if I'll be able to make it during the day, but definitely going to target the end of day, 5 o'clock time frame, and maybe I might see some of y'all out there. Let me go grab some of the gear we used the other day and explain some more detail there. Maybe that might prompt some questions if you have any. Okay, so one of us was using this rod. This is a Berkeley lightning rod. I think it's a 6-foot ultralight, and it's got a pen reel on it. Yeah, Pen Pursuit 3. And this one casts really well. 6-pound test. Everything's got 6-pound test. And right here is the super duper that we used. Let me see if I can get a better view of it for you. Okay. Okay, so this one has this little prism on it that you might be able to get a glimpse of. I tend not to use this one, but my fishing buddy likes to use it. So, and you can see that it limited out right here. We were all using the 502 size, and in my case, I was using the bait finesse gear, or ultralight bait casting. This is the Shimano Scorpion 17 BFS XG. They do have another one, the Shimano Corrado BFS, that came out I think this year, and it's been hard to find, so I couldn't find it. I ended up buying this one. The rod is just a $25 Bass Pro Shop microlight from Bass Pro Shops. Goes for like $24.99. Very bendy. And what I notice, especially when you're casting with the bait finesse gear, is having that little, or that whippy rod definitely helps with casting, going out for distance when you use casting with these light lures. So I'll use these super dupers in the smaller 502 size. I can get pretty good cast with it. And additionally, I'll use these 1/16 ounce rooster tails right here, and get some really good cast with it also. Main thing that I do like about bait finesse versus just straight ultralight gear is the control of your thumb once you got it educated. You can really get some good control with the cast. And then additionally, I just like the feel of fighting it on one of these rods versus just straight ultralight gear. I am waiting on a center pin reel that I ordered the other day. It's supposed to come in somewhere between the 13th and the 28th of this month. Comes from England. It's not one of your more expensive ones. I think it's like $50, but someone suggested to give it a try if you want to get started in center pin fishing. And well, I've never tried it. I'm going to give it a try, and I think I've got a rod up here that I can use. It's one of my carping rods, like it's a 12-footer that I think would go well with that. And well, the key takeaway out of a center pin reel is being able to control the drift better than your just free lining a spinning gear. And so I'm going to hopefully try out either fishing down, drifting afloat, be it a fly or whatnot, be it at the Blue River or one of the other rivers up in Oklahoma, as well as I think if they stock Leela, Lake Louisville Ecological Learning Area, there's a really good several runs where I typically get most of my hits when I'm fishing it downriver or downstream, and I'd really like to try that center pin there and maybe see what it can do. I fished it in the past with a switch rod, and again, mainly drifting downriver, and I think with the center pin reel that'll help me at least control the drift so it's in staying in the money zone, as well as being able to control that drift so it's at the same speed of what's going by in the river. So we'll see. More to come on that one. Other than that, if anyone has any questions, feel free to add your comments, be it in the chat or after the live stream, and I'll definitely read it and hopefully answer your questions, or look to others that may be able to answer it for you. In the case of Super Dupers, that was this discussion or this live stream topic. I do suggest having some Super Dupers, in particularly definitely like having gold, silver, and copper. And rainbow trout's always good to have with you as well. I've seen that work. Additionally, I do have a black one that I'll keep also on hand. Alrighty. Other than that, if there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and end this broadcast of Let's Talk Fishing, Average Joe's broadcast. And till then, if I see you out there tomorrow at Bethany Lakes, if you're local here, do give a shout out. Definitely like meeting y'all out in the field. All right, next time we'll catch y'all again. Good luck and good fishing.